Good evening, everybody, and as you all know, today is November 30th, 2010, and for this day, it's time for another retrospective video, in which today is another famous comedian's birthday, but this comedian's not from America. Well, of course, we know this comedian, he was born in Scotland, but he grew up in Canada. So, yeah, Canada has a lot of great actors as well, even in comedy. And this guy, you know who he was, since he would be famous on an improvisational comedy show, being a regular cast member. And if you know who's celebrating his birthday, which Canadian comedian is celebrating his birthday today, that person is none other than the Whose Line Is It Anyway cast member, Colin Mochrie. That's right, Colin Mochrie is turning 53 years old today, as he was born this day back on November 30th, 1957 in Kilmarnock, Scotland. But yes, that's right, Kilmarnock, Scotland, but his parents weren't Scottish, so they were more Canadian, I think, because therefore he spent more time in Canada with pursuing comedy and all this, and then by the late 1980s or early 1990s, he then started to become a regular cast member on the UK version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, which then was so funny. And after the UK one ended, the Whose Line career wasn't over, because then when the US version premiered on television in ABC in the fall of 1998, Colin Mochrie was a regular on the US version, in which he, along with Ryan Stiles, were the only two cast members to appear in every single episode of the US version, from its premiere in the fall of 1998 to its series finale in 2006. Of course, then they switched with the network switch in between, going from ABC to ABC Family. But of course, with that, for Colin's had a lot of fun on Whose Line Is It Anyway, though there was one thing that he didn't like. The only thing of Whose Line that he didn't like is, often in sketches that he was done, he would commonly play the female role in many scenes, which Colin usually doesn't like that, but that's the only thing Colin really hates. But after all, Colin loves other things in this game. There were some parts he always played, because Colin was always the one that was that put the hands to use in the Helping Hands game. And of course, Colin always played the angry movie director whenever the game Hollywood Director was played, when he says, "Cut, cut, cut, cut! That was a piece of crap!" All this, that's fun. But as well as Colin doing other things always, such as most of the time being the lead anchor in Weird Newscasters, and Colin Mochrie was always the person that was at the podium whenever a press conference was played, since he had to have a straight Haynes quirk. And he also loved doing the only cast member who I think enjoyed doing the hoedowns, because since he was usually the second to last performer, he always made up very good funny verses, but he wasn't singing them, he was more speaking them, but it's still fun. It's definitely good. But the two biggest jokes on Whose Line that were running gags on that show for Colin were, the first thing was about his home country, many jokes about Canada and all that. That's the second biggest thing. But the other big thing that was a recurring joke on the show, was because Colin only had this bit of hair on the sides. Even though he did have some hair, he didn't have a lot of this part of the head had no hair. So there was often many recurring jokes about Colin's baldness, which was very funny, and it kept laughing on about this. So yeah, the recurring jokes on Canada and Colin's baldness were so funny indeed, and all this. But yes, but Colin hasn't done just Whose Line and all this. Colin has also made some small appearances in movies. He even had a cameo appearance playing an art gallery owner in the film The Tuxedo. But of course, more really, in television, he has done other things. Most notably, he had done some commercials in the past. I think he did do some commercials, some Mohegan Sun commercials back then. If he did, I'm not too sure. But the other big commercial which he was most known for doing was that it was for Nabisco commercials, which he actually dressed up. He put a fake pink ballet tutu on him and had some wine, and that's when he became the Nabisco Snack Fairy, which is so funny for all those products, which always ended with Colin saying the words, "Snack Happy," which is fun. But Colin is so funny. He still does comedy a lot. And Colin Mochrie usually is on tour a lot with another Who's Line cast member, since he is part of a show. He's part of the show along with former Who's Line cast member and featured guest Brad Sherwood, which Brad Sherwood celebrated his 46th birthday just 6 days ago. But as always, Colin and Brad are so fun on that live shows. So since they probably have worked together, and there were sketches which Colin Mochrie and Brad Sherwood commonly did. But Colin Mochrie is so funny. His jokes keep going on, laughing and laughing at him, whether it's the Canada jokes or his baldness and all this. But yet still, Colin is a very funny guy, and I hope his comedy career keeps continuing on. So, Colin Mochrie, we wish you a happy 53rd birthday, and keep it up with your comedy. Okay, that wraps it up for my retrospective video on Colin Mochrie. Hope you all enjoyed it. And you can keep making fun of the jokes about Canada or Colin's baldness if you want to, which I personally would. But anyways, as I said, hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. But until then, good night, everybody.